I can't have a consistent background. It just isn't going to happen right now, so we're just going to accept it as fact and move on. Hello, my name is Brianna. Nice to meet you. Hi, my name is Brianna. I am disabled physically, mentally, and emotionally. No, we're not keeping that. No. Hi, everybody. I don't have a good intro. My name is Brianna. I talk about physical and mental disabilities as well as mental illnesses. And today we're talking about disability tips for school from my particular point of view. So, hi, nice to meet you. This is a little bit weird of me. And today we are going to be talking about how to get accommodations at school, a little bit of prep for the beginning of school, and then tips about going to school. This is about college, or if you're in from a different country, university. The beginning of this will be tips about, well, I think most of these are universal, but there is one in here about VR, and it's going to be a bit different. So let's get started. The first one is to get accommodations. Every school has to give accommodations for people with disabilities. The first thing you need to do is talk with your doctor, because you can't get those accommodations if you don't have a diagnosis of something. Obviously, sometimes it's difficult to get diagnoses, and you don't necessarily have to have a diagnosis to get accommodations. You just have to have a doctor saying, hey, these are the accommodations my patient needs. So if you're capable of getting a doctor to listen to you, that's the best way to get these accommodations, either a physical doctor, holistic doctor, or a mental health professional, depending on the disability you have. Those are the things you need. Some unusual ones are multiple due dates for projects. So in the case of a paper, instead of just having one due date for the end of the paper, in which case you're then writing within like that last 5-hour period before the paper is due. I'm guilty of this. If you have that as your problem, having due dates for things like the outline is due at this point, the research is due at this point, then you have the rough draft due later, and then the final draft is due. That way you have small little things to hold you accountable and get you started. And yeah, maybe you'll do your outline like right then and there, really close to time, but the outline will be done before you get started on your research. And that's super duper important. And then by the time you go to finish your final draft, you have a rough draft already, and you just have to edit your rough draft. That would be so nice. Next is usually noise canceling headphones. I recently got a pair of big over-the-ear headphones that are really nice. This is for sensory issues or if you get easily distracted by sounds, so it's really nice for those. I personally prefer the over-the-ear headphones compared to the in-ear ones, because with the in-ear ones, I can hear myself speak, and that is also distracting. But if that isn't that big of a deal for you, you can use things like loop earplugs. There are other options for it, but loops are the most popular and I like them a lot. You can hear sound that's going on around you, and so you can still hear what's happening, but you don't have to hear it as much. And you're not listening to the person beside you sniffing all the time. That's gone. It's really nice. I really like them a lot. Next one is to quietly play with fidget toys or fidget games in class. Now, this can depend on what's going on or how you personally fidget. When I do things, I personally will bring my embroidery. I've got to find my embroidery before I take it to school, but bring my embroidery to class. That's a fidget for me. If fidget toys just don't do it for you, but you're not very crafty and you don't want to bring your whole crafting thing, I literally just got permission to play games in class. Now, that does not mean that I am not paying attention. And when I talked to my professor, said, I will be playing these games. That does not mean I'm not paying attention. You can't just play any game in class. You can't play Call of Duty or Minecraft in class. Fortnite is not going to be worth it in class. And yes, I just brought up the dreaded Fortnite word. We're not going to talk about it. Okay, these are not good games to play in class. Some good games that I personally like to play with that distract, like, the part of your brain that wants to be distracted, like, gives that part of your brain something to do. One that's really simple and a good way to start yourself off this way is This Is Sand. It's an app on your phone, it's an app on your iPad, it's a website browser extension that you can do, and it's literally just, you have colors of sand, and you click on one spot and the sand falls, and you can just put sand all the way across the screen, or you can make little mountains of different colors of sand. I love it so much. So that was what I was originally doing. But sometimes that's not quite enough for me, and I pull out solitaire, which I don't play very hard. I just kind of like click on the different buttons and just watch the things move around. And occasionally I think about it, but I don't have to think about it much. Minesweeper is another one. Obviously, you're playing these silently. You do not have any music going on, nothing like that. You're listening to the teacher and you're playing these games. And then the last one that I do when I just can't. I'm having a real hard time focusing, sitting still, anything like that. The final thing I do is play Kingdom New Lands. It's a little more thinky, just a little bit more. If you've never heard of Kingdom New Lands, you are a king. You have a screen that's like this strip that you walk across. The map is like one big 2D page. And your kingdom is in the middle, and you build walls on either side, and you hire people to join your kingdom and build and fight and grow and all these different things that you do. And basically money controls everything, but it's not like a bunch of money. It's like you have a sack of coins and you give a coin to each person, and like 2 coins makes a bow and arrow, and the person picks up the bow and arrow becomes a hunter or a fighter. And then 3 coins makes a hammer. Any rate, I digress. It's a really fun game, and it doesn't require a ton of mental power. But sometimes you need that extra like oomph to keep yourself from totally not paying attention to the teacher. And that's my, I can't focus at all. This is the bare minimum that I can do. It helps me out a little bit. Some ones that are a little bit more understandable, a little bit more known, are things like having flexible due dates. So maybe instead of saying that something is due at this time, saying, okay, I can get it done in this time period, and having them be understanding of if it's not quite if you don't quite have it by that final due day, you can do it a little bit later than that. It's a little hard. Sometimes professors just won't do that, but it's worth asking and getting accommodations for. And if they have accommodations, they have to do it. If you're late getting a class, sometimes you have to be late for class because of poor time management, because of physical disabilities of some kind. Sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes it is poor time management. If it's poor time management, or if you're physically unable to get to class on a frequent basis, I will talk about that, I think, in a later video. Yes, in a later video. We're going to talk about that in the next video. However, if you are like, I occasionally have this just physical problem that happens that I just can't, maybe I can't even get out of bed because of my physical disability, but you're late to class, you can request to be able to be late to class and still be marked present. If it happens frequently, there are other problems that you might have. Don't mind the squeaking of my dog. If it happens frequently, there are other problems that you might have, but you still need to be able to come to class. So we'll work with that. Osito! Osito! Stop! Stop that madness. That squeaking nonsense. I know you're having a good time. I love you. I love you. Okay. Stop it! If you are struggling to get accommodations, the next thing on my list might help. This is called vocational rehabilitation. Oh my gosh, the squeaking dog. Is he done? He'll start up as soon as I start talking. But at any rate, if you are struggling to get those accommodations, the next thing I talk about will help. If you are struggling to pay for college as a disabled person, this is also something that might help. Vocational rehabilitation is helping me currently pay for college. It is, if you have a documented disability, you have to have documentation of a disability. This could be difficult if you don't have official documentation of your disability. I understand that that's a privilege that I'm a part of, so just be aware of that. If you have documentation of your disability, you can if you have documentation of your disability, it helps you get accommodations. This is basically a government program that is 100% free, that basically their reasoning for it is to keep disabled people out of being homeless and off of benefits, and it helps them just get to a job and keep that job. And if you're like, I don't want to be in retail for the rest of my life, or I physically can't do retail, but I can go to school, they will help you go to school. They will help you pay for school. They will help you get accommodations at school. If you are not in school and you need a job instead, they can help you find a job, get a job, and keep a job. They have a lot of resources at their disposal. If you have a hard time with a particular person at VR, ask for another person, because there are some really great people at VR, and then there's some not so great people at VR. But they're phenomenal. I love them all the time. They help me advocate. They help me if I'm struggling. So if the disability office at your school does not help you, contact VR. They will help. Another thing you can do, instead of just letting the advisor plan your schedule for you, is consider some different things that go along and customize your particular schedule. You can usually still take the same classes, you just have to customize the schedule. So you can choose the time or the building. So if you work best in the afternoon, avoid morning classes. If you work best in the morning and have a really hard time in the afternoon, avoid afternoon classes. There's easier ways to avoid that and work more around your body. But also, the building wise, if you are physically disabled, if you have one building here and one building way over here, and you have 15 minutes to get there, you're not getting there on time. So consider having buildings that are like here and here together if you can. Obviously that might not be the case. Maybe give yourself more time to get from point A to point B if that's the case. But we will, again, on another day, if you're chronically late to class for disabilities, for any disabilities, physical and mental, I've got some things that I can tell you about. It's going to be in the next episode. Video. We're not doing episodes. It's a video. Whatever. On the topic of class schedule, we are also going to talk about making sure that you plan when to do your homework and when to have free time. This does not have to be, I have to do my homework at this time. And it is exact and it is completely organized. Give yourself like a 2-hour period to do your homework in. Give yourself some time. But that being said, don't just say, I'll do my homework whenever. Give yourself a specific day that homework has to get done at a specific time, and then schedule in free time. So when your friends are like, hey, we want to go out today, you can say, okay, I've got free time here if you want to go with me here. Make sure you have free time and make sure you plan for your homework. I'm making sure I have a specific time scheduled for each of my homeworks. The next thing is planning for good nutrition. Now, this is not you need to be skinny. This is not fat phobic. This is not you need to be 100% healthy and eat perfect fields all the time. What it means is if you are eating the cafeteria pizza every single day, you do not have the proper nutrition in your body. It's not good for you, whether you're disabled or not, but especially if you have a physical disability, you don't need to also add on to that not having good nutrition. So first of all, don't assume the cafeteria is always healthy. I might say the caf because that's what they call the cafeteria at my school. They might not say that the cafeteria is not always healthy. So I'm gonna give you like a couple ideas. First one, which is for some reason last on my list, is there a nutritionist on campus? If you have an actual dietary restriction, you need to talk immediately with the disability office in your campus and say, hey, I have a nutrition problem. I need to figure out where to go. They will at the very least know where to get you to the right people. They might not be the ones in control over that. On my campus, they outsource to a third party for their food for some reason. And so I have to go talk to that third party. But that third party has like, okay, you have dietary restrictions. Here's what you can do. This is another time where VR might be helpful if you need help with that kind of thing and advocating, that will be helpful. But if you're just like, I'm vegetarian, it's not for a health reason, it's just because I want to be vegetarian, you can still tell that to the nutritionist and request they have to help you with that kind of thing. I'm also going to tell you some ideas that I have, some like meal prep ideas that I go through. Some of these I do, some of these I don't, because I don't quite have the access to the materials just yet, but I will soon. My ring light just died? Nope, it just turned itself off. So, I now know my ring light turns off after 20 minutes. Yay. Any rate, you need a meal, no, I think it's dead. I think it's dying. Great. Well, this light's about to be a light now. That does it. That works. We're gonna have to charge my new ring light before my next thing. So, well, oh well. I look very bright. This is like super duper bright. I might have to like limit that a little bit. At any rate, you can meal prep a couple of things to help out with these. I mentioned them in another video. I don't know whether it's on the channel or not yet, but meal prepping a couple of things is very helpful. You can meal prep smoothie packs, which are like the ingredients for a smoothie that go in the freezer. I don't really have access to a big enough freezer to meal prep smoothie packs, and I don't have access to a smoothie machine. That's called a blender. A blender. I don't have access to that. They're super versatile. You can put smoothie, you can put veggies in there, you can put fruits in there, you can put fiber in there. It's really helpful. So if you have the opportunity to either A, blend all that smoothie stuff up at home and then thaw it out overnight for the next day, or B, prep the smoothie packs, pack up all the stuff that you want for a smoothie in one thing, and then freeze that. If that's possible for you, that's great. If not, I have another option for you. Overnight oats. This is like, I love overnight oats. I don't always have the bandwidth to do them, so I asked another friend to do overnight oat prep with me each week. So I will be prepping with her tomorrow, and hopefully it will be helpful for me. But overnight oats, you basically take your regular rolled oats, you put them in, you add different things to them to make them taste good. You can also add in there protein powder. Fiber is already in the stuff. You can add in fruits and vegetables, mostly fruits. You probably wouldn't really want a vegetable in there, although you could put in like a green powder, like one of the ones that's like just like a powder of green vegetables, and you can put that in there. But it's super easy to do, and it's super versatile, and you literally can prep the entire week in advance, and then you've got your overnight oats automatically. Small nutritious snacks you can make. I'm going to go through these really quickly because, again, I've gone through them before. But you can get hummus, guacamole. You can buy smoothies and then meal replacements, things like that. They aren't perfect. They're not everything you need in one go. But guacamole, fruits and vegetables. Hummus, that's protein. Smoothies, that's fruits, usually with vegetables in there. Meal replacements, that's got iron and fiber, not fiber, but like it's got a lot of things in there. And then you can just have plain fruits and vegetables. You can just have fruits and vegetables and ranch. If that's not your thing, I don't blame you. That's not super my thing either. I know some people who are like, I freaking love a carrot. And I'm like, no, not really. I'm not interested in it. So thank you so much for making it this far. I really appreciate it more than you know. If you liked this video, consider following it, and if you liked it, consider liking the video. If you didn't like it, yeah, I'm trying not to care, but it would make me sad. No, if you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, you don't have to watch any more of my videos. Nobody's putting your feet on the fire to do it. So have a wonderful day, and I hope that whenever you're going to school that it helps you. Bye.